I came up from the blocks, banging flaming Glocks. My name it rang a lot. Gorilla, orangutan, I'm not. Them pages changed the plot. Stay dangerous, blazing shots. Now it's stay blameless. We rearranged our game for yacht.
And now we standing on them blocks.
First and foremost, we're going to give Call Halal Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. That's all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God Yahweh. And we do so in the name of his son, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. This is Officer Quatazabala or Officer Q. And it's coming at you with some developing news out of Ukraine and Eastern Europe. So let me get us share this screen. Don't want to make this too long. Try to keep this to about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. If the spirit allows. And we keep it popping, man. Just a nice little news update. And actually, before I get started, I don't know if any of you guys have Twitter accounts. Some people may have Twitter accounts and use them. Some people have them and just never really use them that often. I would encourage you to use those accounts. You know, a lot of information and news travels way faster on Twitter, whether it be geopolitical news or just news in your local area. I know a couple times different things have happened in the DC area, and I couldn't get no local news to have no information anywhere. Couldn't find anything. Go to Twitter, do a quick search on whatever it is you heard, saw, or you thought that was happening. Other people are responding to the same thing, and the information travels a lot faster. You know, you always got to vet your information. You know, I pray to the Most High that He continues to help me to make sure I'm giving you guys proper information, good information, solid information. And I'm not just giving you fluff, you know, and things that are just primarily hearsay, things that are factual. Because when it comes down to it, the information that I'm trying to give you is information that's based on prophecy. You know, I want to make sure I'm handling that properly, you know, for the people. You know, I ain't trying to feed you no bad food overall, right? So let me go to this real quick. See if I can pull this up on Twitter real fast. Let's see here. So we get this pulled up here. Lukashenko is the president of Belarus. See if I can get the information pulled up for you. All right, so let me see if I boom. There we go. All right. All praises. All right, so we'll start here. And this is a Greek news company called War News 24/7. The whole platform is in Greek. If you go to this, you got to sign up, or not sign up. Just click it to where it'll automatically translate every time that you pull it up. Sometimes you got to refresh it a couple times to get the translations to come through. But we'll just start here. The Russians, with the surprise maneuver, broke through the Ukrainian defense in Donetsk. They are advancing towards Grozno Gorivka. I don't know, maybe that's how you pronounce that. They captured important Ukrainian strongholds. So Ukraine is losing more ground in this war against Russia. The Russians are, it seems like they have really been baiting Ukraine into a lot of different things, including the whole coup from the Wagner Group. That's the mercenary army that Russia has. Everybody thought that they were going and they were getting ready to take over Russia and take down the government and so forth and so on. And Putin was just playing them, playing the West. He sent them and quote unquote banished them into Belarus, where really they've been training the Belarusian army ever since. So for the past month, they've been training the Belarus army on everything that Ukraine does, their tactics, how they operate during wartime, what the West has been doing, what the West has been giving them, intelligence, and Belarus has been soaking all that information up because something's getting ready to happen, it looks like, in Belarus. So let's go. Next, Russia is laying the groundwork for something big. Destroys Odessa's ports and air defenses. Odessa is a huge place geopolitically in this war. A major port, a lot of goods come through this port, and the Ukrainians have been using it as a weapons storage spot, but Russia hasn't really been messing with it a lot over the course of the past year. They started out trying to get Odessa, and the Ukrainians fought back, and Russia wasn't able to get it. Now that they have weakened the Ukrainians, you're seeing that they're able to. They're now starting to kind of loosen them up, get them a little more tender. Heavy bombardments on a daily basis for the last 3 to 4 days, and now the air defenses in Odessa are pretty much diminished, right? So let's go here on the border with Poland. Wagner, according to the Sorovkin plan, Russian and Polish soldiers face to face. Armed formations move east. So you almost got a standoff at the border with Poland and Belarus, because those Wagner soldiers are primarily in Belarus right now. Right. And what is this leading up to? Let's see here. Green light from Vladimir Putin to the Wagner to start operations. Western Poland was a gift from Stalin, and we will remind them. Right. So all this is playing into the fact that at this current day, age, time, Vladimir Putin in the scriptures is who we would call Gog. If he is the same Gog that is in charge of Meshach, which is the ancient name of Moscow, when it's all said and done, then, that's what it would be. At this point in time, he is definitely looking and playing the part of that actor the Most High has in place called Gog, because God is supposed to go back, Most High put hooks in his jaw to go back and to reclaim his former lands, right? All these former places that were a part of the former Soviet Union, he's now trying to go back and divvy up, and it's all because of Western society, primarily America, and what they've been doing to intimidate and to encroach on their lands. So Putin, again, he used Wagner. He tricked the West, sent Wagner to Belarus. They've been training the Belarusian army, but they have a plan to fight back against Poland if Poland encroaches on Western Ukraine or even on Belarus, right? Putin has already said that if Poland takes a step in Belarus, it's essentially like attacking the mainland Russia. Of course, Belarus means beautiful Russia, all right? I think that's it for these. Let me see. I thought there was another one. Oh, yeah, one more. Huge explosion in Zhytomyr. Cluster bomb warehouse hit. Hundreds of German and Polish soldiers dead and live. So, Slovakia. So that's huge. We're just talking about Poland. Now you got Polish. Why are Polish and German soldiers in Lviv, Ukraine? We already know the West. We already know that there are mercenary soldiers from all these different countries. France and so forth, and so even the United States are all fighting in Ukraine. This is the only reason that Ukraine has been able to fight back. Yeah, they got weapons, but they don't know how to use all these weapons. Somebody has to come in and do it. This is why. But the cluster bombs were sent by NATO. NATO said cluster bombs was a war crime whenever the thought of Russia using them was out there last year. Now they're sending cluster bombs to Ukraine, and they're using them on the Russian soldiers. But like they bombed the warehouse, and now you got a bunch of dead German and dead Polish soldiers. This thing is heating up, man. All right, let me go to let me jump over here to this Twitter real quick. And again, if you don't have a Twitter account, just set up one. Just set it up just to follow certain things, just to follow certain things. We come down here, bottom left corner, my account, Quatazabala on Twitter, or at Dawad Yasharala. Go and follow that account. Twitter is really the fastest way to get news and information, to me, in my opinion. I do want to start doing some things from like a open dialogue type thing. I don't really like Clubhouse. Clubhouse is okay, it's cool, it's all right, but Clubhouse is not in my opinion, is not a great platform as far as a development platform. I think Twitter is stronger overall, and Twitter has Twitter spaces where you can open up and have dialogues and speak to people, whatever the topics might be. A lot of the topics that I would like to get into, if the Most High sees fit, would primarily be news and current events. We of course will get into a little doctrine from time to time also, but primarily news and events, and basing those news and events and lining them up with prophecy is really what that Twitter Spaces would primarily be. But you got to set yourself up an account and then go and follow me on Twitter, and more information to come on that. But back to the info. We look right here. This is Lukashenko. Lukashenko is the president of Belarus. He says, let's see if I can explain this. Here we go. He says Wagner troops are stressing us because they want to go on an excursion to Warsaw. Warsaw is the capital of Poland, right? And Rezal in Poland. Lukashenko said in a meeting with Putin. So essentially, Wagner hasn't been fighting in the war for the past month. Now these guys are pretty hardened, and they've been doing some heavy lifting for the Russian military for months, doing some of the biggest battles of this war that had been won was won with Wagner, right? So now they're like, yo, man, we ain't been fighting. Let's go ahead and go on to Warsaw, and we know that I already showed you that things are starting to escalate at the border, right? When you look at any Polish troops or Russian troops, and they say anything about Belarus on that border, you might as well go ahead and say that the Wagner is there, whenever it comes down to it, because they're the ones that have been trading Belarus over the course of the last month and a half. Let's see. Lukashenko tells Putin that the Wagner troops have begun to bother him. So same thing. He said, I'm telling you, why head west? We'll take a tour to Warsaw. Right. So yeah, the Wagner, man, they ready. They ready to go. But what did it say in the previous article on the other news channel? Vladimir Putin said for them to start, they are green lit to start their operations, and Western Poland was a gift from Stalin, right? We will remind them. So, ultimately, all what's going on right now is that Poland is looking at potentially trying to take Western Ukraine. And Belarus is not trying to allow that to happen because Poland understands that Ukraine is at the point of falling at this point in time, right? It's not much time before Ukraine is just going to be done. Pretty soon, just my opinion, from where they're at, where Russia is at in this war, I see the Russians started to take more precision strikes at decision-making centers in Ukraine. And the people that would be amongst those decision-making centers, if you catch my drift. That's just my opinion on where we're currently at, which is why now Poland is looking like, we can't let Western Ukraine fall. And, Russia is reminding them, hey, don't take a step closer. You do understand that what you got in your land was given to you by us. Don't let us make you remember, So, hey, man, it's tense situations going on right now. So, let's see what else we got. The transfer of Ukrainian lands to Poland is unacceptable. If Western Ukraine asks for help, we will provide it. So now the people in Western Ukraine, Belarus is basically saying that he feels like that they're more tied to Belarus than what they would be to Poland. So now you're going to see what is this, like a maybe like a power vacuum, I guess you can kind of say. If Ukraine falls, different people trying to go in and assert their power and authority over the lands closest to them, just to make sure that the humanitarian efforts, any type of warlords that might be in those areas, or quote unquote bosses, that might be in these areas, don't take over. Now you're going to have the West, or in this particular instance, Poland against Belarus on trying to divvy up those lands that are closest to their borders, right? So this is beautiful, when it's all said and done. But so that's the developing stories that's going on. Let me go and hit Ezekiel real quick, right? Because I think Chief went into Ezekiel 38 on Friday, and we can't never. Did I just close it? I think I closed my Salakia. There we go. We can't never get enough of going into these scriptures, man, because these scriptures are playing out. These prophecies are playing out right in front of our eyes, right? You turn on the TV, you see the news. Is more than likely a prophecy that's playing out on the TV screen, right? So, but let's look at this. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach, and Tubal, and prophesy against him. Right? Currently in this day and age, if it continues to shape up and play out, the way it's looking, Vladimir Putin is Gog. He's the chief prince of Meshach, Meshach being the ancient name of Moscow, right? Magog is the land of Russia, modern day Russia today. And this prophecy is against him. He said, and say, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, all thine army, and horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company, with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So putting hooks in the jaws is to go back and reclaim those former lands that they had, right? So the former Soviet Union had Ukraine and all these other break-off states that are what we say the Eastern Bloc, Eastern Europe. You know, a lot of that stuff was primarily Russia or the former Soviet Union. So now the Russians are going to take that back, and that's the hooks being put back in the jaws of Gog to go and do this. So, but we gotta look and see that when these prophecies are happening, this is all because of course, the Most High is doing. He wrote the story, but also the liberation of the Israelites is playing out in these prophecies, right? These things have got to be faith boosters for brothers and sisters, not something to be scared of, but to understand the times that you're in, you know, what you need to be doing to get yourself ready and prepared as these prophecies get closer and closer to us, because eventually they're going to hit the shores of America, right? You'll see if Ukraine falls, or when Ukraine falls, more than likely, right? Based upon what we see going on, all hell is going to start breaking loose, because it's going to be terrible politically for Western society, right? It's going to be terrible politically for Western society. All the money and ammunition that they gave and weapons that they gave to Ukraine, that was all for naught, right? And now look at the state of the economies of the West. Look at the economy of America. And now people are going to be like, yo, you gave all this money and all these weapons to Ukraine, and they didn't even win. And look at our economy. Look at the inflation. People are going to be pissed off in the streets, right? Immigration, if you look at it, immigration is an issue all through Western Europe, and it's an issue inside of America. And then the economies are all trash also. And this and Ukraine falling is just going to add to that. You know, let's go one more precept here. Didn't want to make this too long. Really just wanted to give y'all that information, you know, that developing information out of Belarus and Poland that looks like another front to this war is shaping up pretty quick, which is all prophetic. Zechariah 1, and we'll start at all right, we'll start at verse 12. Then the angel of the Lord answered and said, O Lord of hosts, how long wilt thou have mercy on Jerusalem and on the cities of Judah, against which thou hast had indignation these 70 years? And the Lord answered the angel that talked with me with good words and comfortable words. So the angel that communed with me said unto me, Cry thou, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I am jealous for Jerusalem and for Zion with great jealousy. Right? What we got to understand is that these prophecies that are moving through the earth, it's all for the liberation of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans here in the Western Hemisphere, and then our brothers and sisters that are scattered to the four corners of the earth. Right? Also, that's what it's all about. These prophecies have to build up, right, for our enemy's kingdom to fall. And then as that kingdom falls, then we'll be liberated, right? But only in America, in Babylon, 1/3 of our people are going to make it, you know. And I won't get into a long breakdown on how the rest of that plays out, but we'll get into it at another time. So, and the Lord answered the angel that talked with me. Oh, sorry, Salakia. Where we at? 15. And I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction Therefore, thus saith the Lord, I am returned to Jerusalem with mercies. My house shall be built in it, saith the Lord of hosts, and a line shall be stretched forth upon Jerusalem. Cry yet, saying, thus saith the Lord of hosts, my cities through prosperity shall yet be spread abroad, and the Lord shall yet comfort Zion, and shall yet choose Jerusalem, right? And now how is this going to happen? How is this all going to play out? Then I lifted up my eyes and saw, and behold, 4 horns. And I said unto the angel that talked with me, what be these? And he answered me, these are the horns which have scattered Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem. Right? So who are these horns that scattered Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem? Right? The 4 major players in the slave trade, Spain, France, Great Britain, and the United States, played the biggest role in scattering all the tribes. Right? It's the whole reason why the Northern Kingdom is speaking Spanish in South America and in Central America now, primarily, right? It's the whole reason why some of them are speaking Portuguese, because Portugal was a part of Spain at a point in time, right? It's the reason why the Haitians speak French, right? And it's the reason why here in America we speak English. And then we can see the same thing on the west coast of Africa and other places also in the world, right? Caribbean and so forth and so on. But these 4 horns are the ones that scattered us. And I said unto the angel that talked with me, what be these? And he answered me, these are the horns which have scattered Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem. And the Lord showed me 4 carpenters. All these things that are happening in geopolitics right now is all happening ultimately because of the liberation being near for the children of Israel, right? And the 2 sides that are shaping up to fight so that way the Israelites can be redeemed and saved from the hands of their enemies, which are these people, the 4 horns primarily, right? Now the Most High is using these carpenters. He showed him 4 carpenters. These carpenters are going to be at odds with the 4 horns. Who are these carpenters? That's the BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China. Plus, because now you got South Africa in the mix, and you got dozens of other countries that are all trying to become part of the BRICS, those 4 carpenters, right? Then said I, what come these to do? He spake, saying, these are the horns which have scattered Judah, so that no man did lift up his head. Right. So when it was all said and done, Judah was essentially the last to be exiled and to be heavily scattered, but to the point of not being able to lift up the head, to not have any type of a pride about themselves. You look at a so-called Black American, he ain't got no flag, he ain't got no land, right? You just entertainers and athletes. That's just what you are for the most part, but these came to fray them, right? Now, who came to fray them? These carpenters came to fray the horns. The carpenters, what does it mean to fray? That word to fray, let's go into it real quick. Don't want to make this too long. Salakia. My eyes bad. Where we at? And these up ahead, scatter it. Why can't I see right here? Scatter the horn, boom, boom, scatter. Okay, here we go. Boom, boom. Dang, I cannot see, y'all. Salakia. There we go. Sorry. To fray, to shudder with terror, hence to fear, also to hasten, right? Anxiety. Ooh, to hasten with anxiety, to make afraid. You afraidy cat, right? Be careful, discomfort, to fray away, to tremble, to quake, right? Also goes into to be routed out with an army. So as these wars are happening, with the carpenters primarily right now being led, of course, by Russia doing majority of the heavy lifting and the work. As this is happening, this is all for the liberation of the Israelites. This is why this is so important. Ezekiel 38, Zechariah 1 is showing you Most High being mad at us, Most High giving us mercy, forgiving us, and then how this thing is going to start playing out at the end as we get into the day of redemption for the Israelites. So, you know, hey, geopolitics it plays a huge role in understanding what's going on at the end, and it should be a comfort at the same time. The things that are going on right now in Eastern Europe, hey, it's not just, oh yeah, it's just another war. It's just other things. It's just some things that are happening between the white man. Nah, man, this thing is shaping up for you. So you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you know, you gotta repent and keep these commandments in the faith and who the world calls Jesus, Hamashiach Yahushai, and you know, our the kingdom is near for us and our redemption is near, right? But don't get left in a situation where now you don't have no protection and all these tribulations are starting to come onto the earth. So with that, I give all honor and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushai and Shalom.